Good morning and welcome to our Saturday Morning Edge. I am Jabaria Dent, Dr. Charles Dent, and our goal is to help parents to raise healthy, happy, well-adjusted, and successful young people. So let's get into today's webinar. Our webinar today is all about habits versus hobbies. So you should be able to see our screen. And we're going into, I'm gonna try to go into presentation mode. There we go. All right. Ready to get started? All right, so what are habits versus hobbies? So we wanna welcome you. Put in, I always like to see who's watching us and something about your family. So if you would, in the comment section down below when we post this on YouTube, tell us who you are, tell us who your kids are, and if you could describe your family as a song title or a movie title, please let us know what that would be. We're always interested to know kind of how families see themselves. So if this is your first time joining us, this is welcome. We're the Dents. We always say you don't have to raise perfect kids, just healthy ones. That's my husband's quote. And my favorite quote is, you have the power to write your own story. So write one that your children will want to read. All right, baby.
Keep talking.
Our goal is to clarify values. What really matters in life? We're here to help parents to understand what are your core values, what are the things that are going to guide your decision-making process, and then create a vision that is grounded and based on your values. What do you believe? What is true and real and important to you as a person, as a parent, because that is passed along to our children. And then lastly, how do you cast and communicate that vision? How do you live out and walk out those values in front of your children, in your community, and abroad? So what are we going to do today? Today, we're going to talk about routines and ruts. We're going to identify the habits that are blocking your success. And then we're going to talk about habits versus hobbies. What is your passion? And how do you allow that to replace those bad habits you've created in your life? And then lastly, how do you think yourself happy? How do you create a mental strategy that is going to boost your mood and your overall health? I'm still talking. Mm-hmm. Routines and ruts. When was the last time you evaluated your daily routine?
Well, that's where it can jump in.
Okay.
You ask yourself the question, and I don't think a lot of people do this because it's just a habit that the first thing you do in the morning, if you notice that one of the things that most people look at people who are very successful, the first thing they don't do is pick up their cell phone. Most people in their daily routine, they pick up their cell phone. I learned to turn mine off when I get into my office and start doing it, because if I turn it off, it's going to be less distraction. But you look at your daily routines. What are your daily routines? And then you get, my wife got a definition for routines and we got a definition for ruts. Go ahead, babe.
So a routine is defined as a sequence of actions that are regularly followed or a fixed program. Whereas a rut is that habit or pattern or behavior that has become dull and unproductive, but it is still hard to change.
And then you think about your routines and you think about in your ruts, because those are things that are difficult to change. And some people go like, old dogs don't change, it's hard to change. But no, change is a choice. You have to choose to change your life. If you're not getting the things you want out of life, why not make the change? Make the changes that you want in your life. I mean, stop waiting on somebody else to do it and say, hey, I'm gonna make these changes. And I love this piece because, I know many times in my life, I have gotten to my routines and my ruts. And I just know that there's something has to change for me to change that to get the success I want. I had to change so many things in my life. And I couldn't wait for somebody else to tell me to do it. I had to do it myself. I mean, that's why I love this piece about hobbies and habits. Really do.
And the funny thing is, a lot of our routine is based in our personality. I look at me and my sisters, and we are so very different because for me, if you want to scare me, tell me something is a routine. I get bored so easily and so quickly. I hate the thought of a routine, having to get up and do the same thing over and over and over again. But now my sister, she thrives on routine. If you mess up her routine of what she would get up, get her coffee, do this, do this, do this, then her whole day is thrown askew. For me, I thrive off of newness, but that has become a routine. So even new things and doing things out of order or changing order can become routine. So it becomes a rut when it's no longer productive.
Well, the other thing about it, you have to look at it from a psychological aspect of it. You look at routines and ruts because those are your comfort zones that you have created for yourself. And if somebody comes in and change that, it disrupt your whole plan. And that's what life is all about. Life doesn't operate the way we want it all the time. And that's why you have to have a mindset to say, what is it I need to change in the midst of that? Because life is not always like this pandemic. It's everybody playing this. It totally thrown everybody, every system out of whack, from the government, from the education system, from how you eat, how you play, everything's been thrown out. So sometimes we probably needed this to happen in our life to show us that, hey, you're following a certain pattern, but you're not getting the success you need in life. And so these whole thing has disrupted everything. And I think that's what sometimes we come back to, because one of the things the thought is your personality comes out of what you think about, because your thought life shapes everything, your character, your personality, and whatever you spend most of the time thinking about, it manifests in your personality.
So take a moment and reflect on how you spent the first hour of your morning this morning.
Still in bed. Some people still in bed. I mean, they still, people are not going to work like you used to. Why are people still in bed on Saturday morning? Well, it's my rest day. You had rest all week long.
Not necessarily.
I know that.
As a teacher, I don't get rest all week long.
But you don't get up like you used to. You don't get up like you did.
No, I don't have to get up at 5.
Yeah, that's right. But I'm saying that every time you ask yourself, what have you accomplished this morning? It's 10 o'clock in the morning. The day is almost going to be, the morning is almost gone. It's going to be noon in a minute. Be realistic. It's going to be noon in a minute. And then people are going to say, what happened to my day? You laid on the bed. You laid in the bed. Well, I was awake. You awake doesn't mean you got up, That's...
A lot of us spend half our day in the bed watching TV, on our phones, scrolling Facebook, scrolling social media. It is amazing how much time we lose on social media. It is amazing how much time we spend, because I'm gonna tell you, I have to be very careful not to, I do a lot of our social media posting. So I'll go to Facebook to post and set up our social campaign and that sort of thing. And I had to stop that because I found myself, I said, oh, I hadn't seen this person in a while. So I click on their post, and then I'm on their timeline, and then I'm 2 people away. And then before you know it, a whole hour is gone, and I spent it on Facebook.
Well, and that's why Christopher and I was talking about this recently, and I said, that's why if you turn your cell phone off, just turn it off, just work from your computer, it manages your time better, because you're not going from one site to the next site. And a lot of times people don't do that. We have, and remember when we were at OKC, when the guy said the reason why they created the cell phone to make people addicted to it, and that's what we have become. And that's an unhealthy addiction. As I was looking,
unhealthy habit.
Yeah, unhealthy habit, because it's very much so. And we don't look at it as, oh, it's my life, but it's consuming so much of our time and energy. And we can't. I love getting out. Love doing that stuff. Like, hey, why can't I just spend that time? What we said the other day about that? Okay, anyway, all right.
So, what part of your morning routine help you reach your goals? What aspect of your routine helped you to accomplish something that will put you closer to your goal?
Okay, so what is the goal? If I don't have any, the cell phone is my consumption. Because I have no goals. And if I have no goals, don't come argue me, because you have no goals. You have no direction where to go. That's when we come back to our vision board and having that compass and saying, hey, parents, you got to have a vision board, because without vision, you don't know where you're going. So you're just gonna wander in that same routine rut because I have no goals, no vision.
But even if you don't, let's say you don't have this big picture goal for your life. You need to get one. But there's basic things you need to do every day just to live.
That's a goal. Say that's a goal. I need to clean my house.
You need to clean up.
I need to wash my car.
Wash the clothes.
I need to
cook breakfast.
That's a goal.
All of that. You have all of those things we have to do. Those are goals in life.
But see, if it's a routine, how do I do it? I mean, I never forget this time. I never forget this in my life. Because I was doing something, I had to do it, but I was doing it gradually. I didn't do it with the full energy, the effort, or anything of that nature. So I didn't give my best because I was complaining while I was doing it. That was not a good goal. That was not a healthy thing. Because so I ask people how many times you doing something. You like the key guy, they talk under their breath when you tell them to do something. You're not gonna give me my best. You're not gonna give your best doing stuff like that. So I got to look at that and ask myself that question. What am I thinking about when I'm trying to achieve that goal?
So do you approach your routines with joy? Otherwise, they become ruts. Because if you have a sense of joy about what you're doing, even the most mundane tasks, as I was this morning, my oldest daughter, Sherian, she's gotten these 2 jobs. She has a goal of buying a car. And so she's been working really, really hard. And so this morning I saw her laundry. She's still trying, she still has to do her laundry. She still has to manage her schoolwork virtually. And so this morning I saw her laundry where she was in the process of doing it. And so I said, how can I bless her this morning and help her? And so it was a routine of just folding clothes. It was nothing spectacular. It was nothing great, but I approached it with joy because I wanted to do something nice for her. So when she woke up, this was one less thing she had to worry about trying to get done before she went to work.
So when I do it in there, I don't even think about that. I say, hey, they left their laundry. Let's get it done.
Well, that's a different mentality.
It's like here's the whole thing about
because I don't like doing it.
Because here's the whole thing about it. If you do anything, parents used to tell you, if you're gonna do anything, put your heart in. And if your heart is not in it, don't do it. Because you're not gonna do your best. You're not gonna put forth your best. And that's why you have to be intentional about doing it and say, hey, I'm gonna do it. Because if you do it gradually, you're not gonna do the best you can do. You're just gonna, and that's a rep mindset, is that I'm doing it because I gotta do it. No, I'm doing it because I want to do it. This makes it different when you do it because you gotta do it. This makes it different when you do it because I want to do it. I want to do this webinar. I want to see parents come out of their rut and routine. I want to see hobbies and habits change for the betterment, because you see there's certain habits that successful people have, and they follow those habits because they know it's gonna. Oh, that's coming up, right?
That's coming up. Great segue though. So the next thing is, hobbies versus your habits. What habits do you have that aren't serving you? So have we become a slave to bad habits?
Oh, absolutely.
We talked about the cell phone, but then there's the bad habit of procrastination. There's the habit of binge watching TV. There's the habit of eating too much because we're binge watching TV while scrolling on the cell phone and doing all those things that don't serve us at all. So we have to replace the bad habits with a good habit or a hobby. So hobbies should enhance our emotional, mental, and spiritual, not take away from it. Forgot to turn off my ringer. Sorry.
Don't worry about it.
So if our hobbies aren't helping you become better, it's not really a hobby, it's a habit. For instance, I love to shop. And when I told my husband that shopping was my hobby, he gave me a look that said,
no,
try again. Because it had become a habit that I use to escape. So when I'm frustrated, I shop. When I'm worried, I shop. And it only makes the thing that you're worrying about worse. Because it's usually money or, you know, space, both of which are taken up and consumed when you buy stuff. So, you know, our hobbies have to enhance our emotional, mental, and spiritual health. Now, I still believe every now and then a therapeutic shopping trip, but it doesn't have to result in spending money. Sometimes you just want to go and rub and look and see.
Justified. Go ahead.
I don't say anything about this golf habit.
But now the thing is, that's a hobby.
Shopping can be a hobby.
But the key thing is it doesn't exert energy like other hobbies do.
Crafting doesn't always
but crafting does, because it requires you to focus on one particular
thing.
thing.
You know how hard I work to get them sales down? I coupon like you would believe.
Y'all hear this?
I'm using honey.
Y'all hear this?
I'm using honey and Rakuten and all kind of codes to save money.
Okay, that's good. Now here's what I'm saying. It's crazy that I'm reading this one book. You know, it's crazy about this, and I know that's why I love how my wife and put this together for us as we talk about this. I wonder, is this a question? I wonder, is it that we use certain things because we have low self-esteem, and that's how we build ourselves up? I wonder whether or not do I have the habits that I have in my life that are bad because I have low self-esteem. I don't have a sense of self-awareness that I have low self-esteem, because this was my outlet. This is my escape when I have low self-esteem. I'm being discouraged, or I feel bad about myself. So these are my habits that emerge in my life because I'm struggling with low self-esteem. I don't have a sense of self-awareness that I'm really having a root issue that has created this. And so, if we look at good habits that we need to have, because I'm working with this one guy who's a smoker, and I told you this story. I told him, basically stop trying to do cold turkey. Let's make it a year. In a year's time, let's make it a goal to not be a smoker. I'm not trying to get you to get rid of your pack right now. Let's say, can we make it within a year, mark the date down, within a year, next year, this time, you're not going to be a smoker. And so a lot of times we don't do that. We try to get people to go cold turkey right away. And it's difficult, because if I've been living as a smoker for 30 years, it's going to be difficult for me to just drop it in 30 minutes. So sometimes we don't look at, I need to create a process of saying in a year's time, because I saw it takes 6 months for a person who's addicted to shopping to get rid of shopping habit. 6 months. Now, some habits take 21 days and 20 more days to start new one. But if I've been doing this for so long, it's going to take more time. So, it'll take more time.
I'm not addicted to shopping. Shopping is my hobby.
All right. Yeah.
Some people craft. I shop.
Yeah. See.
So, what is something that you're passionate about? What brings out your creative side? What makes you feel and come alive? For my husband, that's golf and gardening.
No. I like to do that buttermilk cake, man. Now he started baking. And other things, just loving. I love to cook too. So when I'm in the kitchen, it's like, hey, bye, get out the kitchen, get out the space, because it's fun, it's exciting. And I know that people go like, man, this is, if you purposely, intentionally say, I'm going to change this in my life, you can do that. But you have to be purposely, and you got to be intentional about it to say you're going to do something. I'm telling you, the habits that we're creating since we've been here and things as nature, that's why I tell you, I don't care if you move to a new house, you got a car, nothing. You take those same habits with you. You go to a new job, you take the habits with you. And if you're not careful, those habits will emerge. And you can be perfect in your interview, but eventually those habits can come forth. If you're a person who's always late, it's going to show up. It's always, this thing is going to come happen, because it comes full circle when you do it. So when you look at your hobbies versus your habits.
I also wanted to point out, many of your hobbies can become sources of your income. Crafting, painting, baking, sewing, gardening, they can produce streams of income. My husband has started power washing our neighbor's
But it's
driveway.
become, you see, one of the things it has done for me is created more of a community, because it was the first time all our community sitting at our mailbox talking. So I mean, people across the street on the other side, the other people on the other side start talking to us. It's amazing how it is building relationships in our community, and that's one of the goals that we wanted to have, is that we wanted to know our community, and this, it is a good thing that's happening. I love it. I really do. Because it's good conversation.
So if you have, even I was thinking about this pandemic, and I was thinking about how it has negatively impacted the income of a lot of families. And so if you're watching this and you're thinking, well, I love to bake up. Actually, I forgotten, a big time CEO was talking about how you can earn for your techie kids. If you're a techie person, Alexa has tons of apps and capabilities that most people never tap into. But he said a lot of people buy these, the Google Nest and the Home and the Alexa, and they never really do it past Alexa, play my latest playlist, or Alexa, what's the weather, or Alexa, what's the traffic. But they want to tap into more of it. They want to harness it. So what he said is, if you're looking for a side business and you're a techie person, then learn how to do that, and then offer to program your neighbors and others Alexas and their smart speakers. And he said people were making up to $40 an hour just doing that. And so your hobbies, the things that you like to do, if you are a tinkerer, if you like to tinker, most people aren't going out buying new IT tech gadgets right now. Budgets are tight. So how can you help them get the most? How do you help them, maybe clean up some old things and upgrade and use what they have to make the most of it? That's a job. That's another source of income. So a lot of your hobbies can become sources of income. They can help strengthen your community. They can help strengthen your family. Teaching your child how to bake. Right. Teaching your children how to craft. You're having a craft day where you get all your stuff out together and craft together. Teaching your children how to sew. That's an awesome opportunity to be able to pass down passion and pass down gifts and talents to your children.
Yeah, because one of the things my sister started doing is making masks. And she started she made masks with the Falcons. I said, hey, our way is Alabama, Auburn. But anyway, the key thing is she said, I'm going back to sewing, because she used to sew a lot. And so she's doing that, and she's using that to make, well. And so the key thing is, I still believe you have the capability within your house. And sometimes you just need to look in your house and see what you can do. I mean, I'm just like, hey, like my wife said, I just took a power washer, right, baby, just went next door. And then she said, don't be surprised somebody else wants you to do theirs, and all this other stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm game for it, because it's additional income, and it's working out well in our community. I mean, I love it. Just look at your hobbies and determine how they're serving you. If they're not serving you for the best, do something about it.
So how do you think yourself happy? One of the struggles that we have in this pandemic is every time you turn on the TV, we're seeing news of death and economic downturns and all of that stuff. And so it's hard to keep a positive outlook sometimes if you're listening to everything that's going on around you.
Shut it off.
So sometimes we do have to shut it off, because, a famous, is actually a scripture, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So whatever we think about, as my husband was saying earlier, whatever we think about, that's what we become. So how do you think yourself happy? So how you think determines how you're going to act.
Right.
So when you woke up this morning, what was the first thing that came on your mind? Is it your habit? Was it, oh man, where are my cigarettes? Where my cell phone? I wonder what's on Facebook. What was the last thing that you thought about before you went to sleep at night? How we begin our day determines our whole day.
Well, babe, and this is something, I love this piece, because I've been working on this for a while now, and I gave myself a 14-month period, And what I was doing is looking at the habits of my mind. Yeah, I mean, because Like when I get frustrated with something, what is it I'm thinking about? So do I go away, walk around, and say, hey, what's the thought I'm processing right now? Because you remember that time we were in school and the girl come back later on, how dare I said, because she thought about what was said and then she came back and created an emotion with her, then she wanted to fight the girl. Remember that time?
Yeah.
I said she has gone off and she contemplated that, she thought on it, and it created the emotion that now she wanted to fight the girl over something. But if she just had gotten there out of her mind immediately and thought about something else, it would never create those type of emotions. So you ask yourself how powerful. Now that's why you people at Bob Proctor, like my sons listen to, they always talk about how we have been programmed from the very beginning. And a lot of times we've been programmed to think negative. We've been programmed to complain. We gravitate towards negative news because we've been programmed, and we reprogram ourselves constantly with that stuff. And I remember one time a hurricane was coming through. It was Hurricane Katrina. And I told the family, I said, hey guys, if we're gonna leave, let's leave. If not, settle down. She's gonna pass, and buckle down. And just think of that. You get away from the media because everything is negative, negative, negative. And you look at even when this pandemic, just like I told one guy, he was talking about, man, I'm sick and tired of President Trump. I said, stop listening to him. Stop listening to the tweets. Stop listening. Turn it off. If you turn it off, you won't have to hear all the stuff that it creates in you because you are reacting and responding based on what you're thinking. And so that's even when I'm being honest, one thing when they asked me to do a session on PTSD, that was my key thing there. You're thinking about something already happened. You're not thinking forward. It's reminding you of something past. When people don't forget, it's not something right now, it's something they keep in their mind of the past. That is why the mind is so powerful. The mind is powerful because it shapes everything. It shapes relationships, it shapes destiny, it shapes personality, it shapes everything about ourselves. And if we ain't careful, we can start programming. We program ourselves to believe certain things. And then, oh, I'm not gonna make it where you want. Because you program yourself. If my life is not gonna get better, you're right. It won't get it better. What was the guy said to us? Same old, right? Mm-hmm. Because you program your mind to say it's the same old. And if you're not careful, it destroys everything about you. That's what depression is. Depression is nothing but thoughts that you keep in your mind of something already happened or some fear you got in you because you won't change your mind. Remember we talked about change your story, change your life.
And that's what I mean when I say, we have the power to write our own story. So, and this is not to minimize trauma. Bad things happen. I'm not minimizing the effects of COVID-19. People have lost loved ones, moms, dads, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, children. They have succumbed to this illness. That is not minimizing the impact. It is no small matter to have lost your job. It is no small matter to have been hurt or whatever that thing was done to you. Here's the problem. When we continue to dwell on that and we never look past that to the hope of what is tomorrow, then we have become enslaved to our thoughts. Mm. When we don't learn how to grieve properly and release so that we can move forward, that is how we get stuck in ruts and routines. And our routine becomes one of negativity. Our routine becomes one of depression, of negative talk, of all those things. That's right. Just repeating the same record over and over and over and over and over again.
Because you ever notice you go talk to some people, it's going to be the same record. It's a 33 going so slow now. Back in the day, it's the same old scratchy record. It's the same story. It is because they won't change their story. Just like, remember that one time you told this one lady, this parent, you say, if you change how you see it, it's instead of saying all bad things happen to you, you change your story, it'll change the outcome of your life. Hey, yes, this happened. Yes, this pandemic is happening. Yes, this is real. You can't deny the reality of this. Yes, there are death happening all over us, all around us. We don't make light of any of that. It's how you react to it, you respond to it, will make a difference in your life. It's because I had a message the other day. I lost another cousin. I mean, and everything that's happening, if you see a lot of things happening in life, I lost a friend I grew up with. I lost a couple neighbors that was beside me when I was growing up as a little kid. The key thing is, how do you respond to it? How do you react to it? Because that is how you're going to meditate and think on things. That's why it said, think on these things. That's why the scripture keep telling us, as a man thinketh, he becomes what he think about. So if you change your thinking, even in the midst of all this, it changes everything about. I mean, I'm being honest with you. And I know my wife saying we're telling you this. You can make the best of this. You can really make the best of this situation. You can make the best of this with your children, with your family, with each other. You can make the best of this.
You can. And my coworker asked me the other day when I stopped into work to drop off some paperwork, so how are you and your family doing? I'm like, we great. We're wonderful. You know, quarantine has been a blessing for us.
Yep.
And, you know, she had this look on her face like, really? And I said, yeah, it's how you choose to view a situation. It's the how do you choose to look at it? Do you choose to look at the glass half empty? Do you choose to look at it as half full? I choose to look at ours as overflow.
Yeah, and my
cup runneth over.
And I always say it's the half full, half empty. It's what's in the cup that makes the difference. Because a lot of times people get caught up. I never forget when I start looking at philosophy. People are like, it's the gap, glass half full, half empty. I say, that don't matter. It's what's in it. And what is in it matters. Because what's in us gonna flow out of us. It's what's in you that's gonna flow out. Pressure pulls the best or the worst out of us. Habits come out of us because of the pressures of life. And I'm gonna tell you, yes, we can be subject to anything today or tomorrow, but it's how we react to it. That's why I always say about, you know, when you get into conflict with people, there's called the latent stage of conflict, that you can get in conflict with a person, the other person doesn't even know you're in conflict with them. When you look at a restaurant, the person not treating you right, you can get in conflict with a person there. Somebody driving a car, cut in front of you, you get in conflict with the person, and it's how you react to that. It's gonna matter. Blood pressure going on. How dare you cut in front of me? It's a habit. It's a habit of you to respond that way every time somebody cut in front of you. I remember I changed mine. I said, man, did you see that angel? They said, what the angel? You see that angel came between me and that car, kept us from wrecking? I changed how I saw it.
So as we close, because it's 10:31, just to recap, evaluate, look at your daily routine and identify the places that you need to change. And then change something. Get up out the bed, put the cell phone down, do something different. Even if you just do one thing differently this week than you've done in the past, that will get you closer to your goal. Evaluate your routine and make the necessary changes. Get a hobby. Find something that you're passionate about and that will add to your overall health and well-being.
Not shopping.
If you have the finances to shop, by all means.
And then think yourself happy. You know, how you think. You know, when Paul said, I think myself happy, it's how you think. You know, you're looking for happiness as a byproduct of something. It's in your mind. You can walk in, everybody seem miserable. You walk in a place, they say, why are you so happy? Yeah, I never forget when I used to work at the college. I walk in there on Mondays, every Monday, I'm happy. Why are you so happy on Mondays? Because I already know one thing. Most depressing day of the week for people is Mondays. Most call-off days are Mondays. And most suicides happen on Mondays. And I found out if you turn around and say, hey, I'm gonna think myself happy. And they said, why are you so happy? I said, I have good weekends. That's what I say. I mean, you have to think yourself happy in a consistent basis. If you've never done it, try it. You'll be surprised how happy you really can be. And stop waiting on somebody else to make you happy.
So we want you to join our family. So join our New Level community. Follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, our website, New Level Parenting, or then Enterprises. Either one will take you to our newly launched website. So join our family. Coming soon, you'll learn more about our family benefits. We're going to have family nights. We're going to do date nights that are just for couples to help you re-engage and reignite the spark between you and your spouse. And then exclusive new content on our blogs, emails, and a private Facebook group just for our new level family. So
and coming soon, our parenting playbook, right?
Awesome. Yes, I need to add that our parenting playbook is coming. It's a whole new curriculum geared on how do you create your home team. Your home team is your family, and how do you become the best coach for your child's success? So stay tuned for more information about that. We're excited. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have an awesome day, and remember to think yourself happy.
And Mother's Day tomorrow. Have a happy Mother's Day.
Awesome. I will, won't I?
Yeah.
Bye.